let's take a quick look at the mathematics behind currency exchange. Exchanging currencies is essentially an application of the mathematics of rates, really, and it pops up quite often in today's world. If you think about travelling internationally, making online purchases, and also in terms of investment, some people invest in foreign currencies and exchanging them to make a profit. You might often see these kind of statements when you're looking at online purchases or sites where you can purchase foreign currency. You might see something that says something like $1 Australian dollar or AUD is equal to 0.679 USD or United States dollars. Similarly, you might see a statement in a sort of a reverse kind of representation where we have 1.12 Australian dollars equal to, here we've got 1 Singapore dollar. So sometimes it's your currency that's written as the unit, I guess. Here we've got 1 Australian dollar. Sometimes it's the other currency. It doesn't really matter because you can use your ideas around rates, within between strategies if you like, to work within these different currencies and try to figure out the answers to problems related to them. On this slide, I'm going to take a look at the within between strategy as it's applied in currency exchange. I'm going to be working with this little statement right here throughout this slide. We're saying that 1 Australian dollar is equal to 0.679 US dollars or 67.9 US cents. Now there's a couple of ways we can play with this if we want to work with a within between strategy. On the left here, we have a dual scale number line. Now you can see on the left I've got Australian dollars and on the right US dollars. Zero of each is of course the same thing. $0 is $0. As you move up on the left, we've got 1 Australian dollar is equal to 0.679 US dollars as per our rate that we've got right up the top. And we might want to look at things like how does that convert to the number of Australian dollars if I have 1 US dollar. Now, of course, our within between sort of strategy would tell us that when we go down here, we're multiplying by 0.679. So if we want to go the other way, we'd of course need to divide by 0.679. Now popping that into your calculator, 1 divided by 0.679 will give you that 1 US dollar is about 1.42 Australian dollars. So I can pop that in there, 1.47 Australian dollars is 1 US dollar. Now, if we jump over to the right, I've got a nice little table here. We can look at this thing a different way. So I know, again, my rate of exchange is 1 Australian dollar is 0.679 US dollars. I can fill in this table and find out how many US dollars is 2 Australian dollars. Well, you can probably figure this one out in your head. We're multiplying by 2, so we're going to do the same down here. Multiplying 0.679 by 2, and we get 1.36 or 1.358 US dollars. Okay, similarly, if we're going to look for 10 Australian dollars, we're multiplying by 10 across the top there. In proportion, we'll multiply by 10 down the bottom, and we'll get $6.79 US cents. So it's pretty handy. We can use these little graphical representations along with the within between strategy, to help us to work with currency exchange, basically, to move between or within the different currencies that we're interested in. So looking at a couple of examples now, how many US dollars will 1,000 Australian dollars buy? And how many Australian dollars will I need to buy 1,000 US dollars? What I think you should do now is pause the video for a moment, have a go at these yourself, and I'll come back in a moment and run you through them. Okay, so first of all, how many US dollars will 1,000 Australian dollars buy? My way of looking at this would be to use the same sort of table as we had up here on the top right. So I've got Australian dollars, I've got 1 I know is equivalent to 0.679, and I want to know how many 1,000 Australian dollars will buy. I'm multiplying by 1,000 across there on the top, so to keep things in proportion, I'll multiply by 1,000 on the bottom, and I should end up with 679 US dollars. So 679 US dollars would be able to be bought for 1,000 Australian dollars. Okay, and for the next one, how many Australian dollars will I need to buy 1,000 US dollars, I'm actually going to borrow my dual scale number line from up here and reproduce it down the bottom, although you'll notice that I've turned it on its side, but otherwise it is the same, except I've extended a little as well so that I can get to 1,000 US dollars. Now, if I'm going from 1 US dollar to 1,000 US dollars, I'm going to multiply by 1,000. And of course that means I have to do the same up the top here to keep things in proportion. So I'll multiply my 1.47 Australian dollars by 1,000, 1,470. So I'll need 1,470 Australian dollars in order to buy 1,000 US dollars. Alright, so that is a little bit about the mathematics of currency exchange, essentially working with rates and moving between different values or different types of currencies using what we know about rates and proportionality.